Okay. Welcome you all for another wonderful and insightful session of uh, Personalization Deep Dive, Sitecore AI and Sitecore Personalize by the expert from the Perficient, the Sitecore technical architect Mahima Patel and lead technical consultant Neha Pasi. So they are going to show us the very interesting topic for next 1 hour. So I am waiting to explore more about this from this session. So I hope everyone from the meeting also expect the same. And this is your ground, you people. Okay, so you can going to start your play. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Siraj, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Mahima and I are super excited to walk you through something we both have been working on a lot lately, which is personalization in Sitecore XM Cloud, which is now Sitecore AI, and how you can level it up using Sitecore Personalize. We're going to keep this session very much developer focused so that so that you and I, when comes a real project, we know everything that we need to do to get the systems up and running. A quick hello from our side. As Siraj rightly introduced us, I am Neha Pasi, a lead technical consultant from Perficient. I am been with Perficient for more than 8 years, and I have almost 7 years of experience working in the Sitecore ecosystem. Over the past few years, I've worked on the latest tech stack, mostly headless implementation, Sitecore XM Cloud, Sitecore AI, by the way, and I have led multiple offshore development teams, and I've worked on award-winning Sitecore websites. Before I pass it on to Mahima, a quick heads up that Sitecore XM Cloud got rebranded to Sitecore AI recently, and I think all of us need a little bit more time to get accustomed to the new name. So please pardon us, please excuse us if we mention Sitecore XM Cloud during the session. We mean Sitecore AI itself. Over to you, Mahima.
Thank you, Neha. Hello, everyone. And I am Mahima Patel, Technical Architect at Perficient. With over a decade of experience developing site core solutions, I have experience working in headless architectures, complex integrations, and customizations, and cloud native designs. And I find myself fortunate enough to work with the team that helps us deliver impactful and transformative digital solutions. Uh, Before we deep dive, uh, I would like to give you a quick walkthrough on what we are going to cover today. So we'll start with embedded personalization. What is embedded personalization? What does it offer? Then we'll move ahead with what kind of configurations we need to do to make embedded personalization work with Sitecore AI. After that, we'll see what is Sitecore Personalize, why Sitecore Personalize is needed, how to use that, and what kind of different integration methods are available with Personalize. Moving forward, we'll see advanced personalizations such as custom conditions, experience, and experiments. We'll also see the request flow so that just as a developer, you get an idea what's happening, what's actually happening behind the scene. And then we'll wrap it up with recap and questions. So, without further ado, let's move to the first section, embedded personalization AI. Embedded personalization with Sitecore AI. So, Sitecore XM Cloud needs no introduction, as almost everyone must have either explored or worked on it already. But this new shift to Sitecore AI is a next generation digital experience platform that puts artificial intelligence at the center of the marketing. It's in conversation nowadays everywhere about the new capabilities that Sitecore has introduced with Sitecore AI, putting marketers on front seat with all its offerings such as strategies, Sitecore Studio, and all of the new agents. If we see what's personalization, uh, personalization simply means showing different content to different visitors based on who they are or what they do. It's about delivering the most relevant content or message to each user instead of one site fits all experience. Example includes a new visitor sees a welcome banner, or a returning visitor sees the content based on his or her past activities. Or say a user from Malaysia sees local offers and promotions that are applicable for Malaysia. Personalization helps us to increase engagement, conversions, and helps user find what they want quicker. In today's rapidly evolving digital era, personalization has shifted from being an option to becoming a necessity. Now, what's Sitecore embedded personalization? Sitecore embedded personalization refers to personalization capabilities that are built directly into Sitecore AI, allowing marketers and developers deliver tailored experience without relying on external tools or complex integrations. You can create dynamic personalized content based on user behavior, user profile data, or real-time context. When you migrate from traditional Sitecore XP to Sitecore AI, personalization shifts from backend to delivery layer. So, with what is Sitecore Embedded Personalization? Uh, it's a cloud-based CMS that's fast, easy to use, and works without any heavy setup. Heavy setup, as in we don't need any XDB topology because everything is at the rendering and delivery layer. Everything is at the cloud. It provides us with the built-in rules and built-in conditions that we can use. We can create page variants for different audiences and track the results easily using analytics. Uh, it's, as the name suggests, it's quick to set up, scalable, and lesser maintenance is required. But everything comes with trade-offs also. So Sitecore embedded personalization has a limitation that it has less flexibility for complex rules, such as you cannot use custom conditions like we used to create in Sitecore uh, XP personalization. Uh, if you have a complex system and you need a complex personalization with different conditions or different targeting, you may need to think if you need to move ahead and use Sitecore Personalize to take it further away. Before we start the demo, there are few key terminologies and concepts that we would like to introduce to you guys so that we get accustomed with it. The first one is analytics identifier. So as the name suggests, it's the unique identifier, but it's the most important key that is required to make the personalization work. If you don't set the analytics identifier for each site, the personalization will not get enabled, and you'll not be able to set any variance or personalization to any page. The next one is guest reference ID. It's a client-side identifier generated by Personalize to track what users' interactions are happening, where the user is going, which buttons he is clicking, and whatever activities the user is performing under one guest reference ID, which is unique for each guest. The next one is variant. Variant you can consider as a version of a page in Sitecore. Whenever we create a new version of a page or item in Sitecore, we add different data to it. So variant is similar to that. Whenever we create a new variant for Sitecore page in Sitecore embedded personalization, we can add different audiences and different personalization rules so that a different set of users or different targeted audience see the desired results of personalization. The next one is audience. Audience is a set of uh, rule based or custom condition filters which make sure that a specific set of user, a specific set of audience sees a specific set of content that is required. Then we will see experience and experiments. So these are targeted personalization flow that Sitecore offers, and you can set all the rules, you can use custom conditions, you can use web templates and everything to build these experiences and deliver a fantastic customized and personalized experience to end user. The last one is custom condition. So this is the condition that a developer, that we guys can create using a simple JavaScript language to extend what out of the box rules provides. I hope this is clear. Without further ado, let's jump into the first section of demo, embedded personalization in Sitecore AI. So let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes.
Thank you. So suppose you have a simple website that you have created. You have just started with it. You have a home page and an about us page, and you have just added a single image rendering or image component here. Now you think that, oh, I feel that this image should get changed depend on different user interaction or for different users. Simply to add the personalization to this component, what you'll have to do is go to this personalize tab. Once you go to this personalize tab, oh, I think I'll have to reload because the session has expired. Okay, once you come to this personalize tab, what it says that personalize is not enabled and you need to add analytics identifier. As we have discussed earlier, the very first terminology, analytics identifier, which is must to enable the personalization. So to make it work, we'll click on add analytics identifier. It will take us to the site settings page. This site setting page, it will show how many languages your site have, and you can create different identifier for each language of your website. You can use the existing identifiers or you can create a new one. For this one, we are going to create a new one and assign it. So you can give any desired name you want. This helps Sitecore to identify what website is having what kind of transactions and save it in a bunch. Once you add an identifier, we'll go back to page editor and we'll just refresh that. Once you reload the page, see, now you are able to see the default variant. Now that default variant is present, let's see that if we can create a new variant. After clicking on new variant, let's try a simplest, most simplest form of personalization rule. See, Thursday campaign. If you add a name, click on next, your variant has been created. Once your variant has been created, it will give you option to add conditions. So these are by default all out of the box conditions that Sitecore provides. As the name suggests, we'll go with Thursday campaign. So we'll add something like if today is Thursday. So this one matches it. This condition matches the requirement day of the week. So if I click on plus icon, it will give you option the visit is or is not on a day, say Thursday, and I'll just click on save. So this is how you get to add customization rules on variant. You can add different variants and you can add different customization rules to it. Once I close that, my new variant has been created. Now after creating variant, what will get personalized? All of the components that are present on the page can get personalized. This small icon shows you or displays you whether this component has been personalized or not. It says that image is not personalized. Once I click on it, I can have different options for personalization. I can either hide this component. So if the personalization rule suffice and this variant will get rendered, this component will get hide if I click on hide one. Otherwise, I can change the data source of the component. Say I'll change it to a different image. And a new image, new data source can be added. So if the other day user requests the page, home page, this image will get displayed. And if it's a Thursday and user hits our site or request our site, this image will get displayed. This is how a basic variant creation and rules, applying rules works. This was the simplest rule that we saw just to start with, but Sitecore also offers very helpful rules such as country region to understand what kind of country the user is coming from using his geolocation, what kind of date and time is going on. You can the most important and I guess the most useful one is UTM value. So you know that UTM is used for campaigns and everything, and when you click on the campaign from any social media or anywhere, it appends the few parameters to your URL, and then you request that specific URL. So it gives you all those options that comes up with the UTM. So you can select these options. I have already created one for just for the demo purpose. We'll go there and we'll see how it works. So if you go to this home page, again, click on Personalize. I have created this one, Campaign Intel Finance. If we see what it does, we'll click on these ellipses and see Edit Audience. It says that if the visit includes UTM campaign is equal to Intel FinTech launch. So if I use this website, and so what will happen? Sorry. In the default state, this banner will be visible, or there are multiple banners. The first one is this, then this 5-column CTA will get displayed on, and so on, all other components. With Campaign Intel Finance, what I did is I changed the banner, and that's all for now. I guess I changed the banner only. Now we'll hit this website with this particular UTM campaign parameter, and let's see if it works. So see, this is the website that comes with UTM campaign, and this is how it looks like. If I remove this, the default banner gets displayed. And this is how uh, embedded personalization and its variants works. If we go to presentation, this is something we already saw, why analytics identifier matters and how to do key setups, how to create personalization tab and everything. Now implementation checklist. So before saying that, okay, the personalization is working, or this side is like a go-to checklist before you call the feature done. Embedding personalization is not just a turning a toggle. It's ensuring that tracking, variant, audience logic, rendering, and delivery all align together and everything works together. As we have already seen that we have to confirm that analytics identifier is set up, the personalization tab, if it is set up, the personalization tab will be visible. If it is visible, try to add one of the variant that we saw. Once you add the variant, then add a personalization to the component depending on the rule, and then once that is done, you can just publish that and see. One thing that you need to make sure, while applying multiple variants, that at max you can add 8 variants, and while applying variants, the set of rules that you applied should be very specific and they should not overlap each other. If it overlaps and conflict, Sitecore will give a precedence to a specific number one, but then it might not give you desired results. This was all about embedded personalization. Over to you, Neha.
Yeah. So Mahima explained it very well. What are the inbuilt personalization capabilities with Sitecore AI. But in this section, we'd be stepping beyond that, and we will look at the next level, like how we can combine Sitecore Personalize with Sitecore AI for more advanced scenarios. We'll talk about in this section, we'll look at like three major things. First, we'll talk about what Sitecore Personalize is as in a nutshell. Then we'll see why do we need need Personalize with Sitecore AI's embedded personalization, and then we'll also have a look at the SDKs that come into play for integration. And finally, we'll just have a quick look at how these two platforms connect during provisioning and runtime. Next slide, please. So, as we all know, that Personalize is one of the tools or products in Sitecore's DXP set of like suite of products that it offers. But if we talk about Personalize as a product, it is essentially Sitecore's real-time decisioning engine. It lets the marketers, or like us as well, it lets us personalize customer interactions, run experiments, deliver personalized experiences, which can be displayed across all the channels of your organization. Now, the best thing about this is it's completely cloud native, and everything it does is API driven. That means there's no black box. You send events, it builds profiles, it evaluates the rules, and it returns a personalized JSON response that your application can render. And what makes and like we said, it is one of the biggest strengths of Personalize is how it builds user profiles and segments users into different audiences in real time. So this is so dynamic. It creates this behavioral what do we say, profiles, but it does not wait for the user's session to end to generate or update the profile. So as soon as the user moves from one page to other, clicks on a link, and if with the with proper events fired that are sending data to Personalize, it keeps on building the visitor's profile instantly. So that is the thing about Sitecore Personalize. And one other thing is that all of this with Sitecore Personalize is possible because Personalize is built on three simple yet powerful building blocks, we can say. The first one is events. Your website sends JSON events, and these events tell Personalize what the visitor is doing. The second one is profiles and audiences. Personalize uses these events that are being fed to it through the API or through JSON in the JSON format to build a behavioral profile, and then segments the user into audiences based on the rules that we define. And the third part is decisioning, wherein everything that Sitecore has, like the events and the audiences and the profiles, it puts all of that into play to return a personalized experience, which can be which is in the form of content, a page variant, or an offer, or a completely different set of JSON payload. Now that was all about Sitecore Personalize. In the next slide, so in this slide, we'll see why we need Sitecore Personalize when Sitecore AI already gives us the embedded personalization. While Mahima was explaining about the inbuilt capabilities, she highlighted a point that it is not flexible, in the sense that if your use case or if your website needs some complex rules, it has some complex scenarios, so Sitecore AI does not give you the feasibility to create those custom conditions in build. And the other limitation is that all the customization, or sorry, all the personalization happens at page level. If you go back, like if you guys have worked on Sitecore XP or XM, and if you have done personalization on those pages, then you must be aware that we used to apply personalization rules directly on the components at the component level. But that thing has changed a bit, not a bit, but drastically, with completely with Sitecore AI, that now the personalization happens at the page level. Suppose you want to just personalize one component, change the content of it, you'll have to go and first create a page variant, and then you can go to the component, hide the component, or change the content, or like those kind of things. So these two limitations are present with the embedded personalization of Sitecore AI. And this is exactly where Sitecore Personalize comes into picture and becomes and is very powerful. Personalize gives you a full advanced personalization and experimentation platform as well, that works in a real time sorry, that works in real time and across any channel. It complements XM Cloud's or Sitecore AI's embedded personalization really well because both of these serve different layers. The embedded personalization or the embedded rules run at are very simple and run at the server side, whereas personalize the experiences and experiments run on the client side, and which also helps us to personalize also helps us to unlock complex decisions because it supports custom conditions, decision models, and full A B and testing. So in short, personalize gives you real time intelligence while sitecode AI continues to give us a strong starting point, a way to handle content and rendering, and together they form a strong personalization stack. Now, moving on to the next. Now that we know what embedded personalization is, how personalize can elevate the capabilities of the inbuilt features. Now let's look at how do we integrate Sitecore Personalize, and how not just with XM Cloud or Sitecore AI, but with any other, because Personalize is a standalone product. It could be integrated not just with Sitecore's products, but with other CMS platforms or other websites. So when we talk about integrating with personalized two SDKs, Sitecore provides two SDKs. One is the Cloud SDK and the other one is the Engage SDK. These two are very different as they are built for completely different scenarios. And we as developers or as consultants, we need to identify or we need to understand the differences so that we pick the best or the right one for the website that we are working on for, or for the customer that we are providing solutions to. So let's start with Sitecore's Cloud SDK, because this one is the recommended way, is the Sitecore's recommended way, and it offers the most seamless approach when your web application or sorry when your website is built on Sitecore AI. The Cloud SDK is not just for Sitecore Personalize, but Cloud SDK is Sitecore's standardized integration layer across multiple Sitecore products. So if suppose you have your Sitecore AI website and you want to integrate Sitecore search with your with in into the website, so Sitecore Cloud SDK is the way to go. So this is like one solution that fits, that integrates all the other, that binds all the Sitecore products together. It makes tracking, personalization, A/B, and testing completely unified because everything flows through the same pipeline, and that makes our implementation much easier. It's built, like I mentioned, it's built specifically for JSS and Next.js apps that are based on XM Cloud. So you don't have to do any custom logic, or you don't have to wire things out manually. It supports now what all it supports when we talk about Cloud SDK with Sitecore Personalize and Sitecore AI. It supports the embedded personalization of Sitecore AI. It supports the A/B and testing. It also supports, earlier Cloud SDK did not support the web experiments and experiences, but of late it has started to support web experiments and experiences as well. And finally, it's the go-to option for XM Cloud or Sitecore AI websites. Now, on the contrary, if we talk about Sitecore Engage SDK, this is the recommended way. This is Sitecore's recommended SDK or way to integrate, personalize with any products, like with any other website or any other CMS platform, which does not mean that you cannot use Engage SDK with Sitecore AI, but there are a few limitations that we will see in the next slide. So Sitecore Engage SDK works with any website, irrespective of the platform that you have built in. It sends behavioral data, which is events. Like we talked about events, that is one of the building blocks of Sitecore Personalize. It sends events to Sitecore CDP or Personalize. Again, this one is used to integrate with not just with Sitecore Personalize, but with Sitecore CDP as well. And it has like separate integration for different products. It is best for again, it's best for all the websites that are not built on XM Cloud or Sitecore AI. So let's now to put it like simply in two lines, Cloud SDK gives you a future-proof and unified experience using XM Cloud, and that is like when we say it future-proof, when you use Cloud SDKs with your XM Cloud implementation. So down the line in the future, if you want to integrate Sitecore Search as well, if you want to integrate Sitecore CDP as well within your websites, then you do not have to do anything extra because Cloud SDK supports everything. Uh, and that's why that's the Sitecore's general recommendation that you go with Cloud SDK when you are doing when you are integrating Personalize with Sitecore AI. Now, this slide is a quick summary of both the implementation or integration approaches, both the SDKs with Sitecore AI. This one just gives you all like we have evaluated both the SDKs on these five different parameters, and at the end I tell you like if I could sum it up all for you, Cloud SDK is the way to go for XM Cloud. Implementations or Sitecore AI implementations. So when you use Engage SDK because it is built for products, not just for Sitecore, then if you're using Engage SDK with personal Sitecore AI, the integration steps are a bit tedious as compared to Cloud SDK because you'll have to do a lot of things manually. You'll have to write code to send events. You'll have to write code to integrate Sitecore's personalizes. Tenant with your website, so that happens, but that is not the case with Cloud SDK as it inbuilt supports the other product. And the content management in the use case that we integrated both these products, the one thing that was imperative and that was a mandate for us was that content management should happen only in Sitecore AI. So that is where Cloud SDK option was very much beneficial for us because the entire content stands or is authored in Sitecore XM Cloud, and the delivery and the custom conditions were done in Sitecore Personalize. So the delivery was happening, was taken care, and the variance was taken care by Personalize, but all the content was put in Sitecore AI itself. But when you are using Engage SDK, because this runs on the client side on the front end after the page is loaded on the browser, so you'll have to go and define your what do you say HTML, CSS, and you'll have to do all of that there. Uh, but this does not mean that you cannot like author that kind of content with Cloud SDK and Sitecore Personalize. Of course you can do that, but with Cloud SDK, the other thing is the flexibility in component usage and styling. So with Engage SDK you cannot leverage your custom built components with the custom built components in Sitecore AI when you are working with Personalize, as you will be creating a different set of HTML styling, all of that there. But with Cloud SDK you can use the custom built components. You can like we saw with embedded personalization as well, you can change the content, you can hide the component, all of that is supported. And the major drawback of using Engage SDK is that it does not support the embedded personalization of pages, whereas Cloud SDK does. And yep, the other point, I guess I already covered the content authoring experience, that the content can be authored with Cloud SDK. All the content is authored in XM Cloud, but with Engage SDK, some of the authoring goes there as well. So that was all in all, like I mentioned at the start, that if you are trying to integrate Cloud SD Sitecore AI with Sitecore Personalize and you want to keep embedded personalization capabilities, then Cloud SDK is the way to go. In the next slide, yep. So now suppose you have made your decision that you want to integrate Sitecore AI and Sitecore Personalize using the recommended way, which is Cloud SDK. A couple of things that really you need to take care of. First is the like of course you're using the Cloud SDK. Second, that Mahima already showed that how do you enable personalization, that is via analytics identifier. Now the next thing that comes, which was a mystery for us when we were like first doing this integration, that how are these like if you we all know that within Sitecore AI, usually we have three environments. We have one environment and two, which we call them as dev and test environment. Some people call it int, I believe, no, QA or test. So, but Personalize has two environments. One is prod and the other one is non-prod. So the mystery for me was how to identify. Like, we knew that when I started to work with the products and when it was integrated, the non-prod environment was connected to dev and test, and the prod environment was connected to the production website of Sitecore AI. I tried to understand where is this link happening, but after a bit of research, then the mystery got resolved that this connection happens when the Sitecore licenses are being provisioned. This is done by Sitecore personnel who is like setting up the uh, both the dashboards for us. So the required components for this integration is, of course, the cloud portal access, the personalized portal access, and cloud SDK integration in the front end. So now, this I would like to highlight this point a bit. So if your website, like if your code Next.js application or is built off of Sitecore's starter kit or starter template, then cloud SDK comes already installed in it. But if you have built your Next.js application from scratch, so even to enable embedded personalization, you'll have to make sure that the cloud SDK is installed. Okay, one other thing is that cloud SDK and engaged SDK are nothing but a set of npm packages, so you can install it within your Next.js solutions just like you install any other npm package. So you first have to install cloud SDK, and then it has other packages like Personalize. It has for it has a browser and events, all of that. So before you get started, with the custom conditions and all the other things, you make sure that the cloud SDK is integrated within your Next.js application so that all of these integrations work seamlessly. I guess that is it for this one. Now we will look into the advanced personalization capabilities that would be unlocked once these two products are integrated.
Okay. So as Neha has already shared, why do we need personalize? What are the drawbacks of, not drawbacks, but what are the limitations that comes with embedded personalization? Here comes custom conditions, which works over the out-of-box features that Sitecore embedded personalization already provides. In today's personalization driven landscape, out of the box features often provide a good starting point. We can start, we can ramp it up quickly, and we can see the results, but they can be limiting when you need advanced targetings. And this is all what Neha shared. Custom conditions allow developers to go beyond predefined rules and create highly tailored experience for users. Once created, conditions can be reused across multiple campaigns, experiments, experiences, and can be used to help decision model make the decisions, saving time and effort. Basically, custom condition act as a powerful extension beyond out-of-the-box Sitecore AI personalization, unlocking possibilities for deeper engagement. Now let's see how custom conditions can be created and how it works. So when you go to personalized dashboard, this is how it looks like. You can go to developer center and here you get the option for conditions. Once you go to conditions, these are the out of the box conditions that are displayed that comes with embedded personalization already, and you cannot make any changes to it. All that you have to do is just use it inside Core AI. If there is a scenario, say in this particular website, this is not the country region that out of the box conditions provide, but we have further bifurcated into if a customer is coming from west region, midwest, or south. um, Suppose we need to provide tailored experience depending on each region, we'll need to create a custom condition for that. So we can go to this custom and we can create new custom condition. We have already created one for you. This is how a simple JavaScript language can be used, and you can create a custom condition. You can add these parameters. Uh, you can make it parameterized by adding this square brackets. So then when a marketer goes to Sitecore AI and uses this particular custom condition, he should be able to select which region should be added as a personalization rule. All of the users information or users interaction gets stored in session array. Uh, which again links to the unique identifier of a customer. And we can then add further logic here stating if event coming as a region type, then see what kind of region has been selected by user. Now the question comes here is, how does this event types get tracked here upon users interaction? Does it work by default? No, it does not work by default. So when Neha said that we need to install npm for Sitecore Cloud, Sitecore Cloud, then what you have, you come up with the methods that you need to use to send the data to Personalize. And what we do is we trigger whenever the event gets triggered on the change of this particular dropdown, we send the data to Personalize. Sitecore also provides a very efficient way to and it has integrated AI into it to help us write these custom conditions. All you have to do is click on this code assistant and fire few normal human language queries here, and it will provide you with these queries. But there is one condition here. You will be able to see only this code assistant option when you have Sitecore Stream enabled with your environment or in your environment. Now that you have created this custom condition, how to validate that? Because it works in a way that once you create one custom condition, and if you directly publish that after saving it, you are not allowed or you cannot edit that again. So it's better to validate it before publishing. Otherwise, we'll have to keep doing reworks, deleting that, and then um, checking it again and again and deleting it until it gives the result that we want. So it gives an option to validate the condition that we are building. All we have to do is just click on the test. Once you click on the test button, it asks you few parameters. You can provide any one of them. Suppose we have already seen the guest reference terminology. We'll see how we can fetch guest reference terminology. So if we go to the inspect mode, uh, the and go to the cookies, the user ID or user reference ID gets stored with this particular name, the ID and with underscore personal suffix. All you have to do is copy your unique ID and paste it here. Once you paste it, it will try to fetch all the user's information. These are all the user interactions that user has done over since whenever this site has been created and this user has started requesting the site. You can add the custom condition parameters, seeing, okay, let's see if user has selected Midwest. Okay, so we'll click on Midwest and we'll click on test. It says true. Now let's see if it is also working. If the condition is false, we'll click on West and we'll test again, and it returns the false result. Using like this, by this way you can validate, okay, the custom condition that you have created, the logic that you have written is working very well, and now it is good to use this particular custom condition into actual Sitecore AI variant. I have already created one variant. We'll quickly edit the audience and see. So I have added this condition, visitor region, that we were seeing, visitor region, and we just have to click on add, and I have said that if the user has selected West region, if the user has selected West region, he'll be able to see this banner, and this particular 5-column CTA should be hidden. So we'll just go and we'll close this, we'll reload the site. West is already selected. Oh, sorry, the Midwest is selected. So these five banner component is getting displayed. Different banner is there. Once we select West region, see the banner has changed and that particular 5 CTA component has been hidden from here. So this is how you can create custom conditions and use it here. This was all about custom conditions. Moving on to the next slide. experiments and experiences. So what are experiments and what are experiences? So basically experiments and experiences are similar, kind of similar things, only that experiments let you A/B test personalized content and offers based on real-time behavior scores and recommendations or users behavior. You can use experiments to validate which experiences drive the best outcome, compare variants against a control or multiple designs. Suppose you have multiple design for a website that you are not sure about, you want to see which one brings more conversion or more interaction from end user, then you can use experiment to put both of those design variant and see which one actually wins, and you can then apply the winner one. We'll see how experiment works. So here you see you get the option for experiences and experiments. Once we click on experiments, these are all the experiments that are present. While creating experiments, there are three types of experiments that you can create. One is the web one. This is basically dynamic. It offers a dynamic web template. You can create an offer and content via the template, and you can also add your custom HTML, CSS, JS to render the data, or whatever data will get displayed can be handled. It is all customizable. Then the next one is interactive. With interactive, it's kind of a server side personalization from backend system. So if you want to call a particular API and fetch data from there and display it to a user, the personalized content, you can create interactive one. And the last one is the triggered. If you want to create this experiment, what it does generally do is, if a marketer is already aware about how free markers work, they can personalize the content and push it to the email systems and SMS systems for generating personalized email and SMS content. Right now, we'll see how does the web experience work. So we have already created one web experience for you. Whenever you create a new web experience, again, Sitecore provides few default templates that you can directly use. Like custom conditions, they run basically server side. Web experiments and experience, these all work only client side. This has nothing to do with server side. You get to add different variants. As I said, it's an experiment. You can experiment between different variants. So you can create or add different variants. You can also select like what kind of percentage will be what kind of percentage will be allocated to it, so that it gets visible or displayed or comes in front of the audience. If suppose I want to do this just 10%, that default you can show only 10% and 90%, because I know this variant one is better, but I still want to compare between both of them. So I can allocate them a different traffic. So only 10% will traffic see the original variant, and rest 90% will hit up with the variant one. Now what actually happens with this variant? Suppose I have already used a out of the box one, which is email capture bar. So it's kind of a sign up component that will get displayed. This is the thing that I said, that in web you can customize everything. You can add HTML. So this is the HTML. Again, you can parameterize it, and here if you click that, you get to add all the details. This is the styling. You can add how will your pop-up look, how will the model look. This is the JavaScript which basically decides where your content, where your HTML will get rendered on the page. So here I have just added that insert HTML before body. So your HTML will get inserted before body. You can also, like if you want to replace it with a certain div or something, you can give that particular query selector and it will get rendered there. This is basically for analytics tracking. It gets sent to CDP and wherever the analytics tracking works. If you want to have any API call, you can have it here. If you want to preview what before publishing, how does this works? How does the experiments work? All you have to do is add the website URL and click on preview. Once you click on preview, it will open the website and see. Here your experiment variant data is getting rendered. This is how experiment works. There are different things that you can do here. You can target on which particular page this experiment will work or get displayed. You can add further filters such as all of the custom conditions or default conditions that you have created. You can add that, okay, this experiment will work on a specific page, but only when the language is selected as French, or English or Japanese or whatever. You can also add a decision model here to finalize. You have to add a goal to help decide which particular variant will win. And once the variant once it decides the winner variant, the using post test, you can clarify or you can set up the steps what will happen after the winner variant has been decided. You can assign all traffic to it, you can just complete the test, or you can keep it running. Okay, the last one is the notification. You can get notified if anyone makes changes to this experiment. This was all about experiment. Experiences works similar to experiment. There is no change. The only difference is that as it is not an experience, you need to add only single uh, variant here. So everything else is just that you get to add a single variant, and it will just render that variant into your website as per the conditions and rules you have applied. That is all with experiences and experiments. Over to you, Neha.
Yeah, thank you, Mahima. That was a detailed demo on the experiments, experiences, custom conditions. And before we wrap up this one last section, we wanted to really spend a few minutes on something that we as developers, like Mahima and I, feel that it's absolutely essential for us. That is to understand the request flow when we are working on XM Cloud or with Next.js and with Personalize on top of it. And now with the headless implementations, the rendering also does not is not totally everything is not totally taken care by the Sitecore AI or Sitecore itself. It is split between the front end, your head application, which is either Next.js or another application, and the backend logic comes from a backend data comes from either a CDN or your web database in cases of Sitecore XM implementations with headless. It's very important for us to know how the request flows between these two, like from your browser to the Next.js or the rendering application, and from Next.js to Edge if you are using Experience Edge, and then back to Sitecore AI, which gives you all the layout information. So in this section, we'll walk you through the full life cycle of a personalized page request. But before that, we will look at how a general page request lifecycle looks like, because it's the personalization with in the personalized pages a couple of steps are added wherein the cloud SDK comes into picture, but everything else remains the same. So moving on to the next slide, we originally you'll see a set of bulleted points here. We wanted to put a nice fancy diagram, but we nothing looked better, so we just wrapped it up in these few bullet points. Here, like I mentioned, we are seeing the personalization data flow, but let's quickly walk you I'll quickly walk you through the general request flow of a headless Sitecore website. I'm sorry, I need to rush because we are left with just 6 minutes, and this is something that we do not want to miss out on. So yeah, we 1 second. Yep. So the request starts with the browser. The browser gets the user enters a URL in the browser. Now the browser sends it to the Next.js application, the rendering app. uh, the Next.js calls Sitecore through the layout service or experience edge GraphQL endpoints to get the layout and content as JSON. Sitecore resolves, like at the Sitecore, or you can say that the GraphQL query and experience edge, the route is resolved. It builds the context and applies any personalization rules and sends back a structured JSON layout. Now, that is sent to the Next.js. Now, Next.js then takes that JSON, maps it to the React components through the component factory, and renders it onto the server. So the browser receives the HTML, the end HTML, and React hydrates it. So with this separation and this kind of setup wherein everything is handled at the server side, you see a very seamless, without any flicker, your page gets loaded, and that is the essence of this entire headless application. Now, if we now that we have covered the general request flow, let's focus on the points that are mentioned in the slide. So first the initial check, the JSS or the Next.js application sends a request to experience edge. The Next.js middleware queries. There's a GraphQL query that gets executed, and that gets executed to identify if a page has variants or not. So like in the demo, we saw that every page has a default variant. Uh, and when you create a new page variant, variant ID is generated, and all of that is stored in the experience edge. So this GraphQL query returns in response all the variants that are available. Now, when the variants are available, Cloud SDK comes into picture. Now, the Cloud SDK, a call is made to the Cloud SDK, identifying if there is any personalized variant that matches the current user, or that matches the current context, and that query also returns a variant ID. Now, when Next.js has a winner variant ID, it then makes a GraphQL call again to get the layout information or the JSON information of that variant, and that is sent back to the Next.js. So a lot of calls happen. First, there's an API call that is first there's a GraphQL query that is made to check if there are variants available, and if the variants are available, then personalized middleware that comes into picture with Cloud SDK, then it determines which variant is the correct one. So if there's not a winner variant, if there's a no matching variant for that particular user or that particular context, it falls back to the default variant. Now, when you have a final variant ID, then again an API call is made to Sitecore or Experience Edge to get the layout information to the Next.js application, and then the process is same, just like I mentioned when with the general request lifecycle. Now Next.js takes that JSON and hydrates JSON, which contains the HTML, and uses the React. The component factory information, binds it to the component, and renders it onto the page. Now, this is the flow when you are considering the SSR. Now, with SSG, which is we wanted to show you the code a little bit, but because of the time constraint, we'll quickly jump on to the SSG part of it. So the workflow in SSG is a little bit different, because in SSG we have statically generated pages. So when a user visits an SSG page, the middleware first checks if there's a pre-rendered variant existing. If it exists, then it will skip all the API calls and simply serve the cached HTML, which makes the experience extremely fast. But if there's no pre-rendered variant that exists, then the flow falls back to the SSR behavior again. The API calls to identify the variant, and then another GraphQL query to get the API call to get the JSON. And at this time, this JSON would be cached for the subsequent request. And in case that it does not find a matching variant in both the steps, it would default or fall back to the default variant of that page. I believe that is it. Uh, Moving on, now we'll quickly wrap up everything that we've covered in this session. So, yeah.
I
So
think
we
we
just
have
saw.
time, so you can show that Visual Studio one. I think we'll just go a few minutes. Is it okay, Siraj?
Yeah, we can see. No
Yeah,
issue.
thanks.
All right. So like we talked, okay, the middleware. So this is like your Next.js application that has Cloud SDK implemented. So whenever a request comes, this middleware.tss, this is Next.js's middleware.tss, and this is like something that is recommended. Middleware.ts is recommended for you to put logic such as redirects, or if you want to add custom headers to your request or to your before it is intercepted or processed by Sitecore, this is where you put it. And then the request comes to the middleware. before it goes to Sitecore AI. Then if you scroll to the top, Mahima, we have, if you have Cloud SDK installed already, you'll have a set of plugins that it provides. Like you can see in the plugins, we have three: multi-site, personalized, redirects. The one like that we are concerned right now is the personalized TS, which has all the logic for you to to identify like which variant to be processed. So first, this personalized middleware will make a call to experience it. Again, I'm repeating it, to get the personalization information, and based on the response, it will make a call to Sitecore Personalize to get the page variant, and then the next the other things are handled by your catch-all route that is that will define that will uh, get the layout information. So I talked about multiple GraphQL queries, but one GraphQL query that might help you when you are debugging things when you do not see a personalized variant for some reasons is this GraphQL personalized service.js that's just open. Yeah, this one. So this is the query that gets executed, GraphQL query to I get the variant IDs. You can see that it gets this, it takes the site name, the item path, language of course, and it returns the item ID and all the variants that are available for that particular item. And after that, then personalize comes into picture, and it will decide which one is the matching variant. If not, then it will default to the fall back to the default variant. So yeah, that is it. This file, you'll find this as we talk, the Cloud SDK is just a set of packages, npm packages. This query is within the node module sitecode.js that you can find it within your node modules, or if you have the link to the git repository of this package, then you can find it there as well. All right, I think we can switch to the summary, to the recap. This slide, like this is just a recap of what we have covered so far. We first saw embedded personalization and Sitecode AI, all that it does, like what you need to do to enable personalization, creating page variants, all of that. And then we saw what Personalize is all about, how it can elevate personalize and how it can elevate the personalization capabilities of Sitecode AI. And we also looked at the advanced features, custom conditions, experiments, experiences. We also saw the integration approach, which was like Cloud SDK, Engage SDK, both comparison, and yeah, the developer best practices, or just like a few things that we wanted to share with you so that it could help you out while you are building, integrating these products or working with personalization in either of the two products. I believe that is it. We wanted to, like, the next section was for questions, which we are very happy to take, but I know that we are at time, 3 minutes ahead of time. But we can open the floor. If you have any questions, I guess, Siraj, we can take them up.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much, Neha and Mahima, for showing the new things, maybe. So for me, at least, yeah, so these are all the learnings. And so basically, okay, I never had an experience working with the personalized, but I know, okay, when I was actually preparing for the psycho personalization certification, okay, I did some. But through this overall session, so we have got some new learnings as well. So that is really good, actually. So it is a very insightful and detailed explanation. Okay, I could see that you both. Okay, so yeah, yeah. So from my side, okay, I have only one questions in my mind, basically. Mahima, you showed that the editor, right? Okay, so when you click the conditions, okay, you have the editor, and you said if we have the Sitecore stream, so we have that code assistant things, right? Okay, so my question is very simple. So all the conditions we have to write it on our own. So still the developers is required to write those code, or we always get the help from the code assistants what we need, and how it would be. Maybe it's kind of a some generation so tool we are using it.
Okay, so this is what we generally do. That was a point I guess I missed already, because there are already out of the box conditions there.
Uh-huh.
Those are the best references that you can take. So you can go to those conditions, you can see which one is matching to the one that you want to create.
Uh-huh.
You can take the reference from there, copy that, copy the code, and then update that code as per your requirement. But
Okay.
that assistant also helps. You have to just fire a few commands and it will give you the JavaScript. But again, AI helps, but human intervention is needed just to validate if everything
Ah,
it has provided is working properly or not. So even if the code assistant provide you the JavaScript, you still need to validate that and
yeah.
update if needed.
Yeah, so then definitely the person should at least know the JavaScript to validate that, right? Okay. Still
Yeah,
the dependency is there. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so
And those are
And
the
one
simple.
other
Sorry.
thing,
uh-huh.
Yeah.
and one other thing about that JavaScript, we all know that JavaScript executes in the browser, you can debug it, but this JavaScript is executed on the server side because
Yeah,
you get the personalized variant. So this is it's not really like the syntax of this is not really similar to the JavaScript that we are used to writing. There's this, I'm not sure, this engine free marker.
Hmm.
I'm not sure about this, but if you can just like Google it out, it uses that kind of like scripting and that syntax to write the JavaScript conditions there.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So yeah, so anyone? Are there any questions here? Stage. I think silence. Yeah, means okay, so we have no questions, but so really good. Yeah, so once again, I say, okay, it is a wonderful and insightful session and very detailed one. So thank you so much, Mahima and Neha. So you shared the things. So yeah, so thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. We tried our best. If you have any question, you can definitely reach out to Neha and me anytime. And also, just to note that Neha has written a beautiful blogs on all of the things that we have shared, and I guess few more are coming there. So you can refer her blogs on Proficient website and everything that you need to do on personalization. You'll find it there.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mahima.
Yep. Thank
Yeah.
you, everyone. Thanks,
Thank you,
Raj,
everyone.
for this
Yeah,
stage.
yeah, you
Thank
are
you,
always
everyone, for
welcome.
joining.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.